Hello, guys. Welcome back to Mental Health Monday. This is Noah with Simple Betterment. We're going to get right into it. I've missed a couple weeks, guys. Sorry. Had a lot going on in my life, plus moving to college. So we're going to get right back on track starting this week. And you know me, we're going to keep it up weekly. We've got redeemed apparel merch that is in the bio, or the not the bio. Oh, it is my bio. I got the merch link in my bio, and I've got the merch link down below. Remember, we got code SIMPLE for 10% off if you guys want to use that. Anyways, get right into it. So today's Mental Health Monday, we're talking about grief. All right, guys. Grief is going to be, well, at least this is what I would categorize it as. Oh, also, preface before we talk about anything, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just a student who's learning about mental health and wants to help other people. So, anyways, guys, we're going to get into the what grief is. Grief is it's an extreme mix of emotions due to a loss of some sort, right? So generally it's going to have some sort of depression involved, but also with grief you're going to have a lot of anger, you're going to have a lot of different other emotions we're going to talk about in just a minute, but what causes it is generally going to be a loss of a life, a relationship, something that you hold dear, or a very important goal to yourself. So we're going to get right into it with the first stage is denial. First stage, denial, pretty straightforward. You're just denying whatever just happened. So you think, oh, I'm not grieving anything. Oh, I'm not really going through anything. Um, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, this isn't going to bother me. This death doesn't bother me. This, breakup doesn't bother me. This goal that I've been trying to achieve that I didn't get, it doesn't bother me. That's going to be your denial. And then your second step is going to be anger, right? And so you deny. Oh, this doesn't hurt me. This doesn't hurt me. And then you just get angry, right? This can look like lashing out, self-hatred. This can look like sometimes it could be self-harm. It could be some sort of financial harm too. You're super mad and you just start doing impulsive things, spending a bunch of money, doing a lot of rash decision making. That can be anger. The third step is going to be bargaining, and bargaining kind of ties into anger. These all kind of tie into each other, but bargaining ties into anger and denial. It's just the next step after. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to make it that way, but that's just how the 5 stages go. So bargaining is going to be like, oh, well, if I do this, it'll be better. Oh, well, if I go to this concert for this band that the person who just passed away really likes, then maybe I'll feel like I, can feel them there, or I'll feel like it can help me be better, or it can help me get over this feeling, or oh, if I just drink a little bit of alcohol, if I get drunk tonight because I'm upset, like it'll help me get better, or oh, if I just have, casual meaningless sex with a bunch of all these people, like it's going to help me get better. And bargaining is just you trying to convince yourself that something that you can do that's generally a bad decision can make it better, or can improve the situation. And sometimes that might be the case, but generally these are just going to be temporary fixes, and it's not going to actually help you out in the long run. Fourth step, we got depression. Depression is generally categorized as loss of motivation, extreme sadness, loss of interest in things that you once cared about, and just the feeling of not really wanting to do anything, right? So this can look like laying in bed, not getting out of bed for any reason, not wanting to eat, not wanting to go hang out with your friends, not wanting to go to school or work. That can be one form of depression, but you can also have high functioning depression. You can have people who are super upset, they hate their life, they hate everything. They're maybe even battling, suicidal thoughts, but they're going to work and they're, going to their school because they just feel like they have to. But then when they get back in their room, they can't get up out of their bed. They can't do anything but look at their phone. They don't want to talk to anyone. They don't want to do all these things they cared about. So depression can look like a couple different things, but generally it's going to be a loss of interest in things you're interested in, and then a loss of motivation followed with extreme sadness. Then we've got acceptance, which is coming after the depression. And acceptance is kind of just like once you've ran your course through the 5 stages of grief, you're going, oh, okay, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do to change it. I did grieve this. This is grief. This is something that has happened. This is terrible. I am really upset about all of this, and I have had a hard time dealing with all of this, but there's nothing I can do, and all I can really do is deal with it and move on. That's what acceptance is. You're just choosing to accept the grief and choosing to realize you can't really do anything to make the grief go away or get better, but you are just going to accept the grief and move on. So, next, we're going to be talking about um, how grief can look differently on other people. One of my favorite Bible verses to quote is John 11:35 because it's Jesus wept. It's the shortest verse in the Bible. It's whenever Lazarus died, Jesus wept, and it's an expression of Jesus showing grief in the Bible. So grief can look like that. It can look like, crying, being upset, not being able to do anything, having a hard time moving, like normal depression symptoms. But a lot of grief can come with unhealthy coping mechanisms. So we're going to go over a couple of those. We've got overconsumption. Overconsumption could be alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, food. Um, you could say like drinks too that aren't alcohol, but generally I would just loop that under the food. But it's just going to be overconsumption of that. Oh, you can look at, pornography, sex. It could also look like, movies, TV. You're just trying to feel something or distract yourself from something. So you're just overindulging in all these other different things to get over it. Um, Lack of motivation, having a hard time getting out of bed. That's a pretty common depression symptom, but that's, one of the main symptoms of grief for a lot of people. We've got impulsive behavior, spending your money recklessly, having sex with a bunch of people, doing drugs, drinking alcohol. Some of these things, they can overlap with each other, and it kind of depends on your motivations behind doing them. Codependency can look a couple different ways. A lot of people, when they go through grief, especially in a relationship, they're going to try to rebound immediately, right? That's what they call it a rebound. So they're going to get out of a relationship, latch onto another relationship as quick as possible so that they don't have to feel alone. And this can be a friendship, but it's more often than not a romantic or sexual partner that people become really close to and they depend on for their happiness or their, gratification, I guess, to help them get over their grief. Um, then there's also apathy. Sometimes people just have a lack of emotion. They don't feel anything. This can be tied to things like disassociation, more depression, um, trying to bottle up your emotions or numb your emotions and not even feel them at all. That's generally going to be your apathy. And then you've also got avoidance and distraction. Avoidance and distraction can look like not doing things with your friends and not going out anywhere and only staying home and, not doing anything that's good for you or things that would help you socially. And then distraction is going to be the opposite. You're entirely indulging in things like overconsumption, hanging out with your friends all the time, going to school all the time, going to work all the time, and not giving yourself any time alone so that you don't have to think about it, right? So it's kind of two sides of the same coin here. But those can be your ways that grief looks through most people. But we're going to talk about our steps towards betterment here. I'm basing this off of a method they call the three C's of getting over grief. The three C's are choose, connect, and communicate in that order. And so we're going to put my own little spin on it, and we're going to talk about how I would choose, connect, and communicate. So step one is going to be make choices that help you gain control. Generally, this is the baseline of choose, right? But a lot of these choices are going to be things you want to do, right? And I'm going to say, yes, you should choose things you want to do. You should go hang out with your friends. You should change your room. You should change your hairstyle, your wardrobe, things like that. That can be a good idea. However, sometimes that can lead to impulsive behavior. So we don't want to do that every time. We want to make healthy choices. So we want to choose good things such as going to the gym, you know, changing up our diet, changing your hairstyle and changing your style in general. Those can be good things. Those can be good choices, but sometimes they can be bad choices, right? So we have to be careful there when we're choosing things. But generally, you want to start making little decisions, start making big decisions that you can use to gain control. If your friends want to go out, you just really don't want to go out, make the choice. Tell them, hey, I can't go out. I'm not going to go out tonight. I'm not feeling good. No matter what they tell you, you just tell them no. Sometimes you're going to choose to say no. Sometimes you're going to choose to say yes. And it's going to depend on how you feel and how much it's going to help you. So, number two, we're going to go build a support system, right? This could be friends, this could be family, can be romantic partners. I would advise personally against that. Bad idea, I think, and in my experience, has been a bad idea because it causes a lot of codependency issues. But with your friends, um, although it can cause codependency issues, you can also do what I would recommend is having multiple different friends for multiple different things, right? So I go to this friend to talk about my grief. I go to this friend to hang out so I don't have to think about what I'm going on. I go to this friend to do both. I go to this friend to cook with. I go to this friend to watch movies with. If you have a different, wider net of support systems, then you can choose multiple different things that you want to do, and you'll have different layers of protection throughout your grief. Um, it can help balance, codependency and independency if you do it correctly. And that's one of the harmful things, is that you want to make sure you still have independent time, you still have time with others, but you don't have too much of either, right? You just have the right amount of each, and you have to find balance. Balance is the key. You also, like I've already stated, my other note was to have allocated people for each need, and I think that's really the most important part of this step. So then we're going to go with the third step, which is communicate openly. So when you talk to your friends and you have your support system, and you talk to other people that might be outside of your support system, you're going to openly communicate how you feel. Hey, I'm feeling really sad today. I'm not going out. Hey, guys, I'm feeling really good today. Let's go out and hang out. Hey, guys, I'm feeling really angry. I want to go out, but I want to do this specifically. Whatever. You just need to make sure you clearly communicate. If you need to talk to someone, tell them exactly what you need to talk about, what you want from them, and how you want them to react. If you want to go do something, tell them what you want to do, tell them what you don't want to do, and tell them how much money you want to spend. The more safeguards and boundaries you can put in place, the better that it's going to be for your own healing process. This is another part of, having to pick yourself over other people through your healing process. You have to do that, because if you don't heal, then you can't properly help other people while you're unhealed. Hope this helped today, guys. Remember, I've got probably 2 videos, one right here and one right here, that you can click. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in to Mental Health Monday. There will be more uploads soon. Bye, guys.